Hi everyone, we're here to talk to you a little bit about the PhD student experience. This is going to be a really informal presentation just broadly kind of about Ann Arbor, University of Michigan, Biostat, and then we're going to open it up to any student questions you might have. Ask your questions, students are honest. We're the people you want to ask your questions to. So to start off, I'm Hannah, I use she, her pronouns. I am a fourth year student in the department, second year PhD student. I did my master's here first. I'm originally from North Idaho and I did my undergrad in the Seattle area, a small school.
Everyone, my name is Lingxuan and I'm the third year PhD in our department and also obtained my master's degree here. And as a little different from maybe the other PhD students, I actually got my undergraduate degree in chemistry, and previously I quit from another PhD in chemistry and then joined the Biostatistics department.
Hello everyone, my name is Zhenyu, and I'm the first year PhD student here. I didn't get a master's degree, so I just graduated from Lingxuan K, China last year. And my research topic is reinforcement learning and dynamic treatment regime. So my advisor is Dongling.
Yeah, and I guess I should have said I work with Dr. Kelly Kidwell, who's on sabbatical right now, so you would not have met her. And then also Bin Kai Wang, who should be here today on clinical trial methods.
I think maybe I should
add
more information on mine. Yeah, I'm working with Dr. Kevin He and Dr. Lu Wang, so also doing some dynamic training regimes based on survival outcomes and Bayesian hierarchical models for survival analysis.
Great.
This is really so PhD here.
Yeah. Okay, so most of the things you've heard about so far have been very biostats focused, but we're going to talk a little bit more about biostats, and then there's, School of Public Health, University of Michigan, Ann Arbor. So we're going to talk about that a little bit more broadly. So I don't know how much y'all have been able to walk around Ann Arbor, University of Michigan, but most of your time in classes are going to be in the School of Public Health over that direction. Rackham, for example, where you are here, is part of the graduate student realm. And there'll be events and things here, but most of your time is going to be in SPH. But we're going to focus again, like I said, broadly more on the city, on the university, and other ways that you can get involved outside of Biostat and within Biostat. So in Biostat, we have a number of ways that you can get involved and you can find resources. This department, in case you haven't been told this already, is very community-oriented, very supportive. There's lots of really awesome people you can go to for help about a bunch of different things and lots of ways to get involved. For academic support, I'm pretty sure that Matt Zotowski came in here earlier and talked about BioStart, so that's a new academic resource that we're coming in starting this summer, which is exciting. We also have study groups for all of the core courses that are led by senior PhD students who have already taken these courses, and it's a great place for you to go and ask questions from a different perspective than your faculty and GSI, just to get a different perspective on someone who took the class. Additionally, there are office hours and lots of library resources available to you. We also have lots of awesome staff that you've seen some of today. I'll point out specifically the Wellness and Inclusion Advocate. There's lots of really awesome events that are put on by Chidema. The most exciting one, the one I like the best, is a multicultural food and game night, which is one where students from particular areas around the world come in and share a little bit about the culture from where they're from, and then we eat food from that culture and then play a game from that. So for example, most recent one we had was we have 3 students in our department from North Carolina, and so they came in and talked about North Carolina, and then we ate barbecue and played one of their favorite games from growing up. So it's pretty fun to learn a little bit more about where people are coming from, because this department people are coming from all over the world, and that's a personal favorite thing of mine. I'll also mention the computing support. We have Mike Kleinesasser as our R guru. Any kind of coding advice you might need, he's really awesome. I've gone in there and been like, my code is breaking, I don't understand what's going on, and he has been very, very helpful and patient. He's wonderful. And we also have a cluster staff member who's new. Nicole, what is his name? I cannot remember.
Oh, Jacob?
Jacob, yeah, Jacob is also wonderful. If you need the cluster to run any kind of high intense data kinds of code, he's your person to go to. And pass stuff to where you talk about. community engagement or department groups that you're involved with?
Well, I guess I'm more familiar with the student representations, but I do heard about the state-com from like the community engagement. It's like where you can you can collaborate with like people from other departments on other projects, like provide some statistical consulting and help with them with some projects in this sitcom. And previously, I also attended like the Alumni of the Month. So we have, as you know, we have like Sebastian already introduced. We have a lot of alumni working in academia, in the industry, like those large pharmaceutical companies or those top-ranked universities. So we're gonna invite them to join this event and introduce a bit about like how to find a job in academia, in industry, and what will be the job like if you're working as a professor in a university. Like how your salary comes from, what's your criteria recruiting students, all this stuff, like even like applying for grants. Basically, everything you can ask like about their life, and doing anything about doing research from this event. And I think that's the highlight for the peer mentoring here. So I think this is a really interesting thing for the student representation in department communities. So basically, in this event, we're gonna match you with someone who's already a master's student or a PhD student in your department, and you just need to fill in a form like if I'm looking for some students who are already in the PhD program, I can just fill in, okay, I want my mentor to be a PhD student, or you can even specify like what area he's doing research on or what experience or you want to learn from him. Then the peer mentoring community really did a good job in matching the students to their mentors, and they kind of frequently have some discussions basically on any question about living in Ann Arbor or doing research, everything about this department. And I think recently there's another mentoring thing that's not listed here. It's called the alumni mentoring. It's actually except from like Alumni of the Month, they also have a list of alumni who are willing to serve as the mentor for the department. We're going to do a one-to-one connection with those alumni. Also, they are working in industry or academia, like based on your own preference. You can select, okay, I remember we can select like 3 alumni that you want to connect with, and they're gonna like, rank those things and match you to someone, some alumni. And actually, I already had like 3 meetings with an alumni who I already know about him before he graduated from our department, and now he works in Eli Lilly. So I asked a lot of questions about how to find a job in industry and just behavioral things in industry, applying for internships. So basically everything, he's super willing to help me with this. And okay.
Before moving to the last item, I want to talk more about our cluster and Jacob and Michael. Mm-hmm. And these 2 people are really good at R and Python and cluster software. So if you have any question, you can ask them. And also, our cluster have a lot of CPUs. So everyone has the limit for about 500. So if you want to do some simulations, you can use our cluster very easily and conveniently. So at least for me, it's very convenient. I run a lot of CPUs. And another thing is the weekly seminars. The seminars have 2 parts, one for job candidate and one for distinguished professors. For example, the last semester, we have a lot of seminars from different colleges, and the professors are very professional. Okay. And next week, we will have Dan Yu for the next seminar. Dan Yu is from UNC and is very famous for the survival analysis. So if you are interested in this topic and you are still here next week, you can attend this seminar. Also, the faculty lunch are also very important. Every semester we have about 20 faculty lunches with different professors, and including some junior professors and also some senior professors. So these professors are very kind and nice, and our department will pay for our meal. So if you want to eat some very delicious food, you can find them and talk with them about your studies or researches.
Yeah, and you really need to pay attention to those faculty lunch emails because usually the slots just gonna be filled with maybe 2 hours or even even for some famous restaurants, the slots will just be filled immediately. So.
And I'll point out on the food topic, all of the bolded events have food at them. So we're a very food-focused department, so these are things to point out. The one I'll talk about that hasn't been talked about yet is the Graduate Student Working Group, which is another one of my favorites. This is a really cool opportunity for students to present something that they're working on. And it's a great way to practice for conferences or for like a lab presentation or something. And it's all grad students in the audience. There's no faculty. It's less scary that way. And the person presenting gets to choose where dinner is from for that event. So that's a fun way to have more of an informal way of practicing what you're talking about, get really good feedback on what you're working on, and then also just enjoy some good food because, we're grad students. We like free food. And then I'll also circle back to StatCom and peer mentoring since I'm involved with those, and I'm going to do my little shameless plug for them. So StatCom is Statistics in the Community is what it's short for. I am biased in that I think it's really great. I am also the president of the group, so again, lots of bias there. But I think it's a really cool group. It's a really great way to practice using the statistical skills that you learn in the classroom in a really hands-on way that are really helpful for you in the real world. Because the way it works is we have community partners come to us and say, hey, we have this problem that we want to solve, and we can help them with any kind of process with data and statistics except for data collection. So it really can be anything. It can be, hey, we want to summarize this data that we have. We don't have a way to analyze it. It can be, let's make a presentation for this grant that we're supplying to, and it's all for nonprofits, which is really cool. So it's really meaningful work. And it's also a great way to practice talking about statistics to people who don't know statistics, which is an important life skill. And then for peer mentoring, like was mentioned, it's another great resource for you coming in because you're automatically going to get assigned a peer mentor from somebody who is already in the program. My advice to you when you're filling this out is be as specific as you can. If we get a form that says, hi, I want to learn about funding, everyone wants to learn about funding. So say, I went to this university, I'm from this area, I really like dogs, I really like cooking, I like rock climbing, like whatever that means, and we can match someone who might be more aligned with your interests. Anything else we want to know?
Yeah, and as a small advertisement, we are also holding brown bag seminars, also with food. And but the people we invite are not that as famous as the guys who were speaking at the weekly seminars. So usually the brown bag seminars are the people here are just postdocs and assistant professors who just started their academic career. But it's a great chance to learn how they find these jobs and what they are thinking and how to select the start as your academic career. How to get all offers from those universities that the university support you to be their assistant professor. And also for the mentoring, I want to add another point is except for the the peer mentoring, we're gonna assign you a faculty mentor. Mm-hmm. So it's pretty different from those academic supervisors. So you might not need to work on any project with this advisor mentor. You can ask any questions about living in Ann Arbor, doing research, everything about the department, like taking the information from the faculty's perspective.
Yeah, we have lots of people that you can go to for help. Highly recommend using those resources. Okay, so back up a little bit from biostats. You've heard a lot about biostats. What about the University of Michigan? What's important for you to know about here? So I think the biggest thing about the University of Michigan is it's a huge alumni network. I didn't really realize until I came here how true and important that is. It is a little culty in a good way. It's like you can be talking to somebody and they hear you're from the University of Michigan. You're like, oh my gosh, yes, I went to the University of Michigan. I'd love to talk to you about these things. Or if you're wearing a shirt, they'll say, oh, go blue in public. It's very cute. But I found specifically for my friends who are looking for jobs and internships, the name goes a long way, and it's really helpful for you to get your foot in the door for interviews or meeting the right people and for networking, and it's something you should really take advantage of. Broadly speaking, also, like the school as a whole has really great reputation. We're consistently in the top public schools, and we're also in the top national university list consistently every year. And also, I'll mention that, in case you're not aware, Michigan is an R1 university, which means we are a very high research activity institution, which is really awesome specifically for PhD students, because that means we have a wide variety of research opportunities to get involved with, and also lots of ways to support that research that you do. And then I'll also mention, something got cut off at the bottom. For people who like sports, this is also a really fun place to be. You can get free admission to all of the sports events except for football, hockey, and men's basketball, which you can get student tickets for. I would highly recommend everyone who comes here to get those football tickets, because even if you only go to one game, you can make a profit on those tickets. But it's also really fun to go. So you can see pictures up here in the big house. It's the biggest arena in the country, certainly, and I think it's top 3 in the world, which is pretty fun to be there surrounded by all these people who have the similar interest, and we're all there to cheer on something that we love. And it's got cut off, but I'm sure people will talk to you about, we won the football championship in 2023, and we're very proud about it. So, do y'all have anything exciting to add about the University of Michigan?
Yeah, so first of all, like for the great alumni network, so for me it's really easy to check this facts, right? So every time I open I just open LinkedIn and I click on some like top tier companies, the LinkedIn will say, okay, you have like this number of alumni working here. And also for this very high research activity, there's no doubt we have, our department published a lot of like top tier peer-reviewed articles, and for those famous conferences like INA, GSM, every year we have a lot of winners for this, for winning those student paper awards in these large conferences. And basically, any direction you want to do research in biostatistics, you always find a professor who is a professional in this area, and you can do research with a professor. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just say also, because the university is so big, there's lots of ways to get involved with things outside of biostats and lots of things you can do. It's a really vibrant community, and it's something that I'd encourage you to take advantage of while you're here. And then even bigger than that, what's Ann Arbor like? Y'all maybe haven't gotten a chance to walk around much or like see much of Ann Arbor. The thing I'll mention first is people like to ask a lot about the weather. I think personally the most important thing for you to be aware of is you need waterproof shoes, because in the winter we experience the freeze thaw, and then things are just a little bit mushy sometimes. I think that's the worst part of winter. I don't think it's that it's too cold. I don't think it's that it's too snowy. I think it's that the freeze thaw, you need waterproof shoes, and then it's a little bit long for winter. But it's very manageable. It's totally fine. Just bring a jacket and be ready for varied weather. So like you saw yesterday, it was, 70 degrees? Last week it might have been 40. It just fluctuates a lot. So be prepared to have a lot of different clothing types and layer a lot. Ann Arbor, the thing that I like the most about it is I thought moving here that this would be a college town with a capital C. I have not found that to be the case. I think that Ann Arbor is a town with a college in it. And I see that I see the biggest proof of that in the summer when all the undergrads leave, and Ann Arbor is still a flourishing place to be. And I, as a grad student, specifically as PhD students, a lot of you will spend summers here. And I would encourage you to take advantage of all the things the summers have to offer. There are so many fun things to do. We have the art fair in the summer in July, which is one of the biggest in the country. We have the Summer Fest, which is fun. We have outside Rackham out here, actually. They do free outdoor movie screenings. They have live music, like a beer garden. There's all sorts of fun things to do like that. But yeah, the town really comes alive in the summer when the undergrads leave. So that's proof to me that we don't need the university to function as a town, which is kind of fun. And I'm sure people have said this too already, Ann Arbor is consistently ranked a top place to live. People love living here. And a big part of that is how easy it is to get around. It's a very walkable town. There's lots of great bike trails and bike paths to get around for transit. Sebastian, who you just heard from, bikes to campus every day, 365 days a year. Like when it's snowing, when it's raining, he's always biking to campus. Gene Morrison is the same way, so people do that. And also the buses are great because the buses are free with your M card, your student card. And they go all the way to Ypsilanti, so if you're commuting in from there, you can get there. They go all the way to North Campus. They're just all over the place, so it's easy to get around. And there are bus stops right outside of SPH, which is really great. So I can literally walk out my door, go to a bus stop, get on the bus, and then I am in front of SPH, which is really great. I'll also mention that Detroit is about a 40-minute drive, a 60-minute bus. There's a bus you can take. I'm taking it today. It's only $6. It's great. Takes you downtown Detroit because I'm going to go see a Pistons game tonight. And the bus is really great. You can go downtown Detroit for concerts, for sports events, and all sorts of things. It's closer than you think. And the airport is also a huge thing I love about this town. It is a 30-minute drive, any time of day, any time of weather. Traffic doesn't affect it. It's always 30 minutes to the airport. It's amazing. And we're also a Delta hub, so you can get anywhere really easily. And there's also a bus to the airport, the Michigan Flyer, which is great. It takes you directly to the airport, and I think it's $11, which is also very affordable. So it's really easy to get around outside of Ann Arbor as well.
Yeah, so as previously mentioned, it's a very walkable downtown. If you don't want to drive, you can just live in downtown and you can walk to any place that you want to go. And for me, because I do not live here, but I drive to school for some time, so small things like people here are really nice about driving. They're not that fires as those drivers in the large cities. So it's really good, very friendly to some like new drivers like me to driving in Ann Arbor.
Yeah, to comment on that, I think I've heard someone use their horn one time the entire 4 years I've lived here. It is not an aggressive driving city at all.
Yeah. And also the airport is pretty nice. So Delta have a separate terminal in this airport, and all other large airplane companies have their planes at another terminal. And yeah, it's really amazing. Like no matter what time you drive to DTW, it's always 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's so easy.
No traffic on the whole road. Yeah.
Actually, the reason why I chose here, the biggest reason, is not the research or studies, is the airport. I know many of my friends, they need to drive for 4 hours to the nearest airport, like New York or Chicago. But here you have DTW, and DTW is one of the biggest bases for the Delta. And Delta is very famous for different destinations and very luxury service. So I even have some credit card for the Delta. So if you want to travel during the weekend or the spring break or winter break, you can simply choose DTW.
All right, and here we have some fun pictures from many department events. I'll point out we have a cornhole competition against epidemiology every year. We've won 3 years in a row now, I think, so we're pretty good.
Epidemiology backed out this year. We
That's
beat
funny.
them too hard.
That's incredible. So we're gonna always be the winners. That's funny. We had a staff versus students one also last year, but the staff and faculty won, which was a little sad to us. This is the ice skating event that happens it's usually in February, March. We just had it a couple weeks ago. It's pretty fun. Up here is our movie night. We have that once or twice a year. They rent out the Michigan Theater, which is the fun indie theater downtown, and we get to vote on a movie of our choice to see. Graduation. This is our dumpling making event for Lunar New Year. Our picnic, our fall picnic. Yeah, lots of fun stuff going on. And you may notice some faces that are here today, like Carol's in the other room.
Yeah, is that Lou?
I think it is Lou. So with that, we'll open it up to questions if anyone has anything. I know you've been talked at for a lot today, so if you have no questions, that's fine, but we are happy to answer anything that comes up. Yes?
What is your favorite part of the Biostats department?
For me, I think it really is the community aspect, because I went to a really small undergrad, a liberal arts school, and I felt very supported, and it was very community-minded. And when I was looking at grad schools, I knew I wanted to be a place where I would feel valued. And I was really surprised coming to Michigan that I felt all of those things, because Michigan is a really big, well-renowned university. It's huge. It has all this research. It's, it's a big deal. And I didn't think this department maybe would be as community-minded as it is, but every single person that I talked to in the admissions process was amazing. They wanted to know about me as a person. They were happy to answer my questions. And I also, it's not a show. Like, I've been here for 4 years, and I feel that every time I come into the department, people are excited to see me. And that's been really a huge part of my success here.
Yeah, maybe for me, it's like the faculties here are really nice. It's like, because now it's in my third year in my PhD, so I'm still studying those new stuffs, and every time I run into a problem, I always find some professor like from the department who is really have great knowledge in those areas. So I can just drop by his office, during the office hours, and walking and ask questions about all these stuffs. And all these faculties are really nice and willing to help the students to know about the new things, get familiar with a totally new area. And also my own supervisors are really helpful, and from research and also living in Ann Arbor, a lot of advice on how to live well here. Also kind of work-life balance, so they would not ask you to, we have deadlines this time, you need to submit all these things by these deadlines. If you do not submit, I will be angry about you. No, they would actually be very caring about your working and also living here. So if you are taking some classes, you have midterms, finals, and just go to talk to your supervisor, say, I'm really busy this weeks. Maybe we can pause the meetings, or my research for this 1 or 2 weeks. I will resume after that. The faculties here are really nice. Say, I know you are busy, so let's just do it, and see you in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, for me, it's also the advisor. My advisor Dongling is very smart, and every time I have some questions, he can answer these questions within 5 minutes and tell me what to do next. So he's very helpful in the way of my research. And besides that, he is very nice for his personality. For example, we have a lot of lunch meetings, and he will drive us to to watch some basketball game. And last month we just saw a gymnastic game. UCLA with UMich, right?
Oh, nice.
So yeah, it's really nice. And also, if you have some mental problems or other problems, work problems, you can find him. And if you are busy, you can just skip that meeting. So it's very helpful for, at least for our PhD students without master degrees, because we have a lot of courses and other busy things to do. So he will tell me a lot of suggestions.
Yeah, I'd say broadly the faculty here they know that you are a person who have other things going on in your life, and they are very willing to work with you to help you be successful in whatever that means. Yeah. Yeah. This one?
Yes. Would you mind talking more about specific projects you worked on for staff?
Oh, yeah. So let's see. Last year, I worked on a project with the Ann Arbor Hands-On Museum, which was really cool. It's a museum that is in downtown Ann Arbor, and we worked with a community partner. They had all this data from admissions that they had, like when someone comes into the museum, they say, I am a member, I'm not a member. This is how many times I've been in before, this is my age, like things that they can track who's coming in and using the services. So what we did is we took that data and we analyzed it for them in a way to say, of the people coming in, where are we tracking, where are they coming from, how many of their visitors are members, and how much value they're getting from the membership, like are members coming more often, things like that. And they were able to use all of that data for applying to grants to set up a new exhibit in their museum, which was really cool. To say like, hey, this is really getting a lot of use in the community, it's a lot of value in the community, let's put this money towards something that we can continue to foster that relationship. This semester there's also been a project with the Huron Valley Humane Society, which has been pretty cool. It's about tracking lost dogs. So tracking where they're found, and then if they're returned to owner, to like think about rates of return, and thinking about how successful they're being at that goal. What's another one that's happening right now? I've also this semester worked on a project with the Monroe Senior Services Center. They're trying to send out a survey to see who is using their senior centers and maybe who might need access to those that don't know about them or might need extra resources. So trying to figure out a way to create a survey to get that understanding of those questions they're answering, they want answered, and then also how to distribute it. And once they do that, we'll analyze the data on the back end. Wide variety of things.
I think that's the last question we have time for.
Yeah, I know we're standing between you and lunch, so feel free to find us at lunch if you want.
Exactly.